Hi, I'm Henry Sturchy, Director of Design at Silicon Knights. Here with Dennis Dyack, Director of 2Human, and Rob Porsky, Designer on 2Human. We're here to cover the skill tree classes.
With the blessings of Odin and runes of protection, the Defender is the backbone of the Aesir's defense.
So today we're going to talk about the Defender. In particular, his first node in his group skill is it decreases the amount of damage taken by all weapons. So when you power that up, that helps your whole group, essentially making them tougher, which is something any party would want and would love for co-op. The left path is kind of like the fire and ice path. So essentially, you have a proc here that you can administer that will actually freeze your characters in place, which is always great. It'll stun them, and they won't be able to attack or move. You've got a spider that it allows you to drop an ice mine that will further just freeze everyone in a very large radius. And then the group skill and the battle cry gives you a shield that when enemies hit you, they freeze. And then to top it all off, right at the bottom of the skill tree, before the sentient weapon skill, you've got something where you can power up your laser. So you've got a lot of heat, a lot of cold, and it's a really, really interesting path.
And one thing really cool about the freeze shield is that when you deploy that, enemies that hit you will actually end up frozen, so your co-op group mates can just come over and pick those guys apart. You can step back and start to kite enemies and use your laser now with your laser damage to pick those guys off. It's actually an incredibly versatile shield.
Yeah, very powerful, very powerful. The center path is a path where it becomes essentially your super armor path or your tanking path, and by just putting points in here, it increases your survivability as a defender massively. So here, the second skill actually, it's a chance that if you're really low on health, that the actually killing blow that should kill you just won't affect you. And that's some pretty interesting stuff when you think you're about to die, but this thing will keep you alive a lot longer. And then we have the shield skill that protects and absorbs damage, which is also very, very cool. This is one of my favorite battle cries, and this makes you immune to all status effects. So all kinds of polarities and enemies that have fire, poison, radioactivity, you're immune to them for that period of time, and you can just waltz into things that would ordinarily scare anybody and just cream them.
Yeah, and actually one thing that's really cool about that is projectiles in 2Human can also have these status effects on them. So enemy snipers can fire ice beams at you. You can get, fire, bullets fired at you and stuff like that, and this actually helps nullify all of those negative effects.
Yeah, especially those nasty ice trolls, when they're attacking you, it's not good.
It also changes the way you play the game. You usually avoid shooting dark polarities, and now you can charge them up and use them to damage other enemies. It just gives you a new strategy while fighting. Yeah,
that's really cool. The dark polarities are really scary, especially for guys that like to shoot. So, and that totally changes it around. So if you're teamed up with a commando, it can really, really help. So in the last skill, really, increases your armor bonuses across the board, which is a fantastic skill. Okay, and on the right-hand side, we essentially have the combat defender, who can do the most damage. And here, the first skill reflects damage back into the enemy. The spider skill, which is another one of my favorite spider skills, it gives the laser beam, laser turret to the spider, and that guy just destroys enemies. It's great on trolls. You can drop it.
So one thing with this, the laser is it has a high penetration value against some of the bigger enemies like the trolls and necromancers. So you can pretty much put out that laser spider and he'll help you. I mean, he can go through a bunch of trolls for you while you're picking off the little guys and stuff like that. It's actually a good way you could tank one troll with your defender while you have this thing pick off the other one. It's a very versatile skill.
Yeah, and the next, it really is probably one of the strongest spider skills. It needs to be, because the battle cry here for the defender is really a strong co-op skill, and it's a taunt. So if your friends are when you're playing co-op are about to die, you just fire this one off, and all the enemies will attack you, and they'll just ignore everyone else in the game. And so that is really only useful for co-op. So it's really balanced. So this is really powerful on its own. So it's a very neat skill. And then, of course, you can increase your hammer damage, and hammers are really, really good for defenders. They do really well with them, especially with a hammer and shield. and you get bonus armor and can do a lot of damage. So that's the Defender.
And the hammer weapon types actually radius juggle your enemies. So the Defender, because of his hammer and shield output, he's actually really good at serving up a spray of enemies for like the champion or the berserker to finish off in the air.